Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to read Where the Wild Things Are. The story and the pictures are by Maurice Sendak. It is a really good book. You're going to enjoy it. What do you notice on the front of the book? This is the front, right? The cover, and this is the back, and this is the spine. What do you notice about it? It looks like it's in a jungle, right? And look, there's a boat right here on a river. The seal covers up a little bit of our book, but this is an award-winning book, so it's really, really good. I remember reading this when I was a little girl. Can you believe that? And there's a monster over here. I wonder what this monster is going to be doing during our story. So, without further ado, let's get started on Where the Wild Things Are. You're at home. That's where the wild things are. Okay. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind. Look, Max likes to wear his monster suit. And another. Look, he's chasing the dog now. With a fork! How silly. His mother called him a wild thing. And Max said, "I'll eat you up." And he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night, in Max's room, a forest grew. Look at that. Is that true? Can a forest really grow in your room?
Yeah, no, that's what we want to see.
And it grew. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became a world all around. Max's bedroom turned into a forest. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max. And he sailed off through the day and the night. Look, it even says his name right there on the boat. Max, M-A-X. And in and out for weeks and over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars, and they gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. Does Max look scared to see all those other wild things? I don't think so. Look, there they all are. You be a monster. And still Max said, "Be still!" And he tamed them with a magic trick of staring into their yellow eyes without blinking once, and they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. His magic trick was to stare into their eyes without blinking. And they made him the king of the wild thing. Look, he even has a crown and a scepter. And all the other wild things are bowing to him. This is quite an adventure. Look. "And now," cried Max, "let's the wild rompus start." And look, they danced. And was he howling at the moon. And they danced all night, and then they climbed and swung through the trees all day. Just being wild and doing whatever they see fit. And look, there's Max on top of the other wild things. Looks like they're having a really good time, doesn't it?
He's the king.
He's the king of all the wild things. "Now stop," said Max, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely, and he wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around from far away and across the world, he smelled something good to eat, and he gave up being king of where the wild things are. How do you think he's able to smell some delicious food? Did he really leave his bedroom? Remember, his mom had sent him to bed without any supper for being a wild boy. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said no. And the wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. Just a minute, Aubrey. And he sailed back over a year and in and out for weeks and through a day to get home. That's a long time, huh? All the way back and to the night of his very own room where he found his supper waiting for him. There he is. And there's supper over here on the table underneath the moon.
What do you guys think he's having?
Who knows? Sophie was wondering, what do you think he's having for dinner? Something that must smell pretty good for him to come home from being where the wild things are.
Maybe mac and cheese.
And guess what? It was still hot. So, my question to you, boys and girls, is do you think that Max went on an adventure? He might have. How do you think he got to where all the other wild things are? Do you think he was dreaming? Do you think maybe he fell asleep and just dreamt about the wild things? I just don't know. So, what I'd like you to do is draw a picture of a wild thing and tell mom and dad or grandma, grandpa, tell them about this wild thing. What makes him so wild? What does he do that makes him act crazy? You tell me and then send me a picture of it, okay? All right. I can't wait to see all the wild things that you guys are going to send. So, I'll have another video for you tomorrow. I'll see you then, guys. Bye.